Hi everybody, Liz here, and welcome to my channel Earth Art Balance, where I talk about leading a balanced and creative life while managing a chronic illness. And today I want to talk about some lessons that I've learned over the past 7 years on this journey of mine. So without further ado, let's get into it. One of the most important lessons I've learned, which I actually kind of really learned more recently, but has been really vital for me understanding and giving context to my experience in the world and the world around me, is that where I live, which is America, we live in what I'm going to label a wellness culture. And this wellness culture, while it can be beneficial, can also cause a lot of harm. And I'll kind of explain what I mean here. What I mean by that is that we live in a society that says that your health and well-being is in your hands, that you have some or a lot of control over how well or how sick you are. And there's a couple of problems with that from the standpoint of someone with a chronic illness, because first of all, one, I did not ask for this. Two, I am trying my best. And three, science, not helpful for the most part up until this point. Or, the medical care in general does not know enough to be helpful. And so in a wellness culture, in a society where it says your well-being is in your own hands, and basically it's your fault if you're not well, coming to understand that that is the culture that I live in, that I'm fed images of what a healthy body and a healthy lifestyle look like all the time, when it's not necessarily something that works for me or is wellness inducing for me, because I am living with and managing a chronic illness. That was an epiphany that I had, that I was like, oh, society is not built for me. And it was pretty transformative for me. And it was just something I felt like I had to mention, because living in a wellness culture, when you're someone who has a chronic illness where there really aren't answers to help fix you so that you can be the epitome of that wellness image, was challenging, I think, for a long time. And it took me until relatively recently to come to terms with how much that kind of cultural and societal foundation, that value, really impacted me and my journey. I think contributed on the early stages of my illness to me pushing too hard and not taking care of myself, because I was taught this is what wellness looks like, so this is what you have to do, when in reality, because I have a chronic illness and disability that I am managing, that image is not, it doesn't work for me. So that actually brings me to my second point. This I luckily learned earlier rather than later, although it took me several years to learn this, and that is really, really being present in my body and being aware of what is going on and the information my body is telling me. And so that's been really important, especially when I'm being fed or told one thing or another, being given recommendations by people, by doctors, by medical professionals, by therapists, by friends, by family, by acquaintances, by other people who have dealt with similar issues that I have, to pause and take in that information, yes, and not brush it off, but then also, what is going on in this moment in my body right now? What is the information I am being fed? So being present is an incredibly challenging skill, practice. It's a practice. It's an incredibly challenging practice, but it is one that over the past 7 years, I have come to realize and recognize that it is extremely vital to me knowing what I need to do to manage symptoms as they arise or get more severe or get better or get worse. So that's been really important, is learning to kind of be present and listen to my body, and not necessarily what cultural or society or what other people are saying I would benefit from, but what is my body telling me it needs, and really listening to that and honoring it. So that's a lesson that I learned that I hope if by telling some people this earlier on in their journeys, they can learn it sooner rather than later, that would be great. Because there's a lot of turmoil I feel like I went through because I didn't listen to what my body was telling me. So another lesson that I have learned that's been really important, and this kind of goes along the lines of the other two that I just mentioned, which is living in a wellness culture can be harmful. And two, not listening to your body can also be harmful. But three, as a result of kind of the information that we're fed that this is what wellness and health looks like, I've ended up over time shoulding myself. Like, I should do this and not that to be healthy and well. I should eat this, not that to be healthy and well. I should try this. I should not do that. Just stop shoulding yourself. Just stop. Just stop. So this kind of constant shoulda, coulda, woulda. If I shoulda, coulda, woulda, I would have been better, more well, healthier, happier, whatever, fill in the blank. I've really learned that that is not helpful. And that the most important thing I can do is to, when I start, oh, I should eat this or I should do that, I pause and I say, why? I've gotten into this practice of asking myself, why? Why should I or why shouldn't I do or eat or be or do something, right? And this has been really helpful because it's helped me check what the intention is behind the should, because oftentimes I feel like the shoulding can be extremely detrimental when it comes from a place of being fed information that if you do X, Y, and Z, you will be healthy and well, and you won't have to deal with all of these annoying symptoms that come and go and ebb and flow that you're dealing with. And so I think for the longest time, because I bought into that concept of the wellness culture, that I would should myself all the time, and it didn't necessarily help. So that's a really important lesson I've learned. It is a journey. I still find myself doing this, and that's why getting to the practice of saying, why? Why should or shouldn't I do something has been really, really helpful. So I hope, for whatever it's worth, you find that helpful as well. So the last piece, the last kind of concept, idea, lesson that I learned that has been a struggle to really internalize is that sleep and rest are vital to my well-being. And the amount of rest and recuperation that I need from everyday activities does not match the societal narrative of what one should need, right? So I need a lot more sleep than the average person, simply to function somewhat normally. So getting the rest and recuperation that I know my body needs, that I've learned my body needs, has been difficult for many reasons. One, I've mentioned this, buying into the wellness culture, not listening to my body, and then shoulding myself all the time, all of those things kind of together lent themselves to me not resting and recuperating over the amount of time that I needed to actually begin to heal and manage a whole slew of my symptoms. And I would say that out of all of the lessons I have learned, this one has created the most amount of change in my actual well-being, and that is learning to take care of myself by resting. And so it's been challenging, but humbling at the same time. And it's a journey. It changes every day. So, there's another little lesson for you. No day is the same. But yeah, so those are kind of, I guess, 4 just moments of like epiphany where I'm like, oh, this makes more sense now, that have really contributed to me being able to live a more balanced and creative life and feel like I am not overwhelmed and as sick as I was at the beginning of my journey. So I hope you found this helpful. And that some of these lessons are maybe lessons that you've also learned. Please comment down below if there are other lessons that you've learned that have been really vital and transformative for your approach to just daily life and living. I'd really love to hear about them. So thanks so much for watching. Remember, it is about the journey, and can we just take a moment to recognize my cats didn't disturb me? What? In any case, I think this might be the first video where my cats didn't circle me. So in any case, thank you so much for watching. Remember, it's about the journey, and take care. Bye. Hi, buddy. Of course, as soon as I mentioned the cat didn't join me for the video, here he comes. Right, buddy? Right? You showing everybody your tail? You showing everybody your tail? Yeah.